These developments are huge and get no attention. People need to understand what this means. It means that if this war spreads, as I think it will, the Houthis, Hezbollah, the militias are symptomatic of where I think we're headed. I think that Washington wants desperately war with Iran.
In the words of Colonel Douglas Macgregor, we witness an unfolding drama in the Red Sea, a critical juncture in modern geopolitics. But what does this mean for global stability? How are the economic landscapes being reshaped? Stay with us as we explore these pressing questions in today's discussion. This vital waterway, once a bustling corridor of international trade, has transformed into a volatile war zone. Recent events have dramatically underscored the rising hostilities between the US and the Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. In a series of aggressive encounters, the Houthis have demonstrated their increasing naval capabilities. Notably, they claimed responsibility for a missile attack on a Malta-flagged cargo ship, the Zographia, as it was en route to Israel, marking a significant escalation in their military operations. This attack, alongside others targeting crucial maritime routes, has forced many international shipping companies to seek alternative, longer routes, avoiding the Red Sea altogether. The US, in response, has intensified its military actions. Recently, the US military confirmed shooting down an anti-ship cruise missile fired from a Houthi-controlled area in Yemen towards the USS Laboon, a US Navy destroyer, in the southern Red Sea. This marked a critical moment in the ongoing conflict, as it was the first US acknowledged fire by the Houthis since America and its allies began retaliatory strikes on the rebel group. These US strikes targeted multiple Houthi missile sites, aiming to neutralize imminent threats to both merchant and naval vessels in the region. This escalation of hostilities has raised concerns about the potential for broader regional conflict, as the Houthis have explicitly threatened to expand their target range in the Red Sea to include US ships, in retaliation for American and British strikes on their positions in Yemen. The situation remains tense and fluid, with the Red Sea's status as an unpassable zone for Western and US ships, particularly those en route to Israel, becoming a stark reality. This reflects not only the strategic significance of the region but also highlights the profound implications of these developments on global trade and regional stability. In recent months, the Red Sea has transitioned from a bustling trade route into a perilous zone of conflict. The Houthi rebels, asserting their naval power, have targeted a multitude of commercial vessels, significantly disrupting global shipping operations. These persistent attacks have led major companies like Shell, NYK Line, Mitsui O.S.K. Line, K-Line, A.P. Moller-Maersk, and Mediterranean Shipping Company to suspend their operations in the Red Sea, an unprecedented move highlighting the severity of the situation. The Houthis, claiming their strikes are directed at boats with Israeli interests, have indiscriminately targeted ships, making the Red Sea a treacherous passage for international trade. This has forced shipping companies to reroute around Africa, particularly around the Cape of Good Hope, a significantly longer and more expensive voyage. The impact on global trade is profound. The Red Sea route accounts for 1/3 of all container traffic and is crucial for the transport of oil and liquefied natural gas, LNG. Avoiding this route not only adds about 2 weeks to travel times but also incurs additional fuel costs, estimated to be around $1 million more per round trip. The consequences of these disruptions are far-reaching. Trade through the Red Sea has decreased by about 1/3, mainly affecting container ships carrying high-value goods from Asia to Europe. The rerouting has also led to a near tenfold increase in insurance premiums for ships using the Red Sea. In response, some shipping companies, like France's CMA CGM, have doubled their rates for shipping from Asia to Europe, reflecting the heightened costs and risks associated with these new routes. This situation in the Red Sea, underscored by the Houthis' effective maritime disruptions, not only highlights the group's formidable capabilities but also raises serious concerns about the stability of one of the world's key maritime trade routes. The ripple effect of these disruptions could potentially impact consumers worldwide, as the increased costs of shipping are likely to be passed on. As Colonel Macgregor has insightfully pointed out, Western nations find themselves ensnared in a complex web of geopolitical challenges. While steadfastly supporting Ukraine in its ongoing conflict, they are simultaneously grappling with their own internal tribulations. This intricate situation is now further exacerbated by the rising tensions in the Red Sea, contributing to an additional layer of geopolitical strain. 2024 has unfolded as a year where the focus of concern for foreign policy experts has shifted significantly. The leading worry is no longer external threats to U.S. interests but rather the potential for domestic terrorism and political violence within the United States, particularly around the presidential election. This domestic instability is juxtaposed against an international backdrop of escalating conflicts, notably the protracted war between Hamas and Israel in Gaza, potentially igniting a wider regional conflict. Furthermore, Western nations are facing heightened risks of armed conflict with global powers like Russia and China, as tensions escalate in regions such as the Taiwan Strait and South China Sea. The combination of these international and domestic pressures paints a picture of an increasingly fragmented Western response to global crises. This period marks a significant departure from the declining trend of armed conflict observed since the end of the Cold War. Conflicts in regions like Libya, Syria, Yemen, and now the Red Sea, triggered by various uprisings and geopolitical shifts, are a testament to this change. The situation is compounded by the fact that diplomatic efforts to resolve these conflicts seem to be faltering, as evidenced by the growing number of countries resorting to military means to achieve their ends. In light of these multifaceted crises, the Western response is under intense scrutiny. There is growing criticism over their handling of international conflicts, particularly in light of internal political and economic pressures. These challenges are not just confined to the realms of diplomacy and international relations but also deeply impact the domestic landscapes of these nations. The escalating conflict in the Red Sea has led to significant strategic challenges for Israel. This critical maritime route, once a vital artery for Israeli supply lines, is now a zone of contention. The increasing tensions and disruptions in the Red Sea have substantially impacted Israel, particularly in its dealings with Hamas and the looming threat from Hezbollah. In the recent conflict, Israel has faced attacks from both Hamas and Hezbollah. The situation escalated following a deadly attack by Hamas, which resulted in a high number of casualties and kidnappings, further straining Israel's security apparatus. This was compounded by Hezbollah's attacks on Israel's northern borders, signaling a new front in the conflict. These developments have brought Israel to a precarious position, both militarily and politically. The repercussions of this blockade are far-reaching, affecting Israel's defense strategy and its ability to maintain regional stability. Critics argue that this scenario exposes vulnerabilities in Israel's defense and foreign policy, highlighting the complex dynamics of Middle Eastern geopolitics. The situation is further complicated by international efforts to de-escalate the conflict. While diplomatic solutions are being sought, the underlying tensions and strategic challenges for Israel remain. This reflects a broader narrative in the region, where the axis of resistance, including Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon, continues to challenge Israeli interests. This strategic setback for Israel is a reminder of the ever-changing landscape of Middle Eastern politics. It underscores the need for Israel to navigate these complexities carefully, balancing its security needs with the broader regional dynamics. The Red Sea conflict has intensified economic woes for Western countries, already strained by various global crises. The disruption of this essential maritime route has led to major shipping companies like Maersk and Hapag-Lloyd rerouting to avoid Houthi attacks. This strategic shift has resulted in significant delays and soaring shipping costs. The detour around the Cape of Good Hope adds about 9 extra days to transit, tripling shipping costs on these routes. While there has been a modest increase in global oil prices, the impact on U.S. retail gas prices remains limited. This economic strain underscores the fragility of global trade networks and the potential for broader impacts if the conflict persists. In the current geopolitical landscape of 2024, Hezbollah and Hamas are increasingly asserting their influence and capabilities, especially in light of the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. Hezbollah, backed by Iran, has evolved from a militant group to a significant political force in Lebanon, while also maintaining a formidable arsenal that poses a serious threat to Israel. Their involvement in the conflict with Israel, along with their alliance with Hamas and the Yemeni Houthis, is part of a broader strategy aligned with Iran's objectives in the region. This alignment represents a concerted effort to challenge both Israel and the United States' influence in the Middle East. The strategic and military developments among these groups indicate a significant shift in the power dynamics of the region. In conclusion, the ongoing conflict in the Red Sea has set in motion a series of events with profound implications on the global stage. It has not only reshaped the geopolitical landscape, particularly in the Middle East, but also significantly impacted the economic dynamics worldwide. As the situation continues to evolve, it is crucial to stay informed and vigilant about these developments. Thank you for watching and staying engaged with this critical issue.